Alright guys, I'm gonna do a Q&A. So it's a series I started for my YouTube where if I have a long queue, then I'll try and answer every question you guys have in the chat, and I can like talk about builds and stuff like that while we're just sitting here. So we have 7 minutes, so go ahead and ask away, and this would be episode 2 of it. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask it. Keep it within reason, you know. Don't ask me super personal things. So yeah. What's your favorite voice pack? Probably Agni or Swagni voice pack. It's pretty good in my opinion. I like Heavy Metal Thor as well. I think that's a really good voice pack. And skin, honestly. Pretty good. That's right here. How do you build Erlang? So top 3 favorite assassins: Thor, Pele, and Susanoo probably. So Erlang build would be like, let me do this real quick. So you rush Berserkers, obviously you go TP, Warrior Tabi. And then it kind of depends on what your verse is. If your verse is Guardian, go Runic Shield. Physical, go Void Shield, then probably Urchin. Unless you need a rush magical defense, in that case you should go like Runic Shield there, probably. And then Pestilence is good defense option in this build. And then whatever you need last time, Mantle is really good because you have no CC immunity as Erlang, and this will round out your build, and then you can sell this for Nemi in late game. And that would be the build for Erlang. That's one build. You can, there's a lot of variants right now in solo builds. So who's your favorite shampoo? I just like Old Spice usually. You could make 2 gods switch ults, who would they be? That's a good one. That's something I have to think about for a sec. Probably, ooh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I don't have an answer. There's so many different things you could do. I guess a fun one would be Sobek ult is Ymir ult, and Ymir ult is Sobek ult. I think it would actually make those 2 characters a lot more balanced. But anyway, what's my social security number? Oh, okay, that's exactly what let me answer that for you. Why do you only play Hunter in solo? Because Hunters aren't very good in solo, to be honest. Best Fenrir skin? His recolor, Frostfang Fenrir. If you play on low settings with Frostfang, it actually looks really good. This is it on low settings. It's like really good looking. Everyone agrees for the most part. Is Berserk good on Cuckoo? No, I don't think so. Glad Shield's much better on him, and you don't want to go both. Can I 1v1 Bree again? This time for Odin. Odin's mine, Jew. And you got Irish Bastard. Thanks for the tier 1 sub, man. Welcome, bro. I appreciate that. You did tell me it's Opwash 3 only spends on ability healing, but it still procs and serve heals, even though it's passive healing. Well, that, yeah, his passive is considered an ability. There's some passes like that. So can we see an Odin or Guan game next? I don't really like those gods, to be honest. Really don't enjoy this. I know you're not a jungler, but how would you build Arachne jungle? Actually, her build's a little bit different now, probably. I'd probably go something like Golden Blade, I call it Katana, Golden Blade, Ninja Tabi, Stone Cutting. Probably go something like this, Kin Size. I would definitely go an auto attack build, I think. Probably like Magi's. Oops. Magi's. And then whatever last item. Need more defense, Mantle. If you don't need it, then maybe Titan's Bane or like some attack speed, maybe Executioner even. But you probably need more defense. You probably do enough damage with the build you already have. So something like Mantle would probably be good for last. Do you always build hybrid on Assassin Soul? Yeah, for the most part. If you go full tank on them, it's they're really tough to be useful with. Because a lot of them don't have enough CC. Is Stone of Gaia any good right now? Yeah, I think it's pretty good. It's just situational. It's really good into comps that are like sustain dependent. So if I'm against like a healer in solo and like it just seems like they're gonna rely on their sustain a lot, then I think Stone of Gaia is a really good pickup because then you can kind of match their sustain and you don't have to worry too much about them out healing you. Because Stone of Gaia does have a lot of good out of combat sustain. Favorite Pokemon and why? 151 and under, let's be real. I'm not a big Pokemon fan, so I'll just say Charizard because fire's cool. I got bodied by a full damage Chalk and solo when I was Amma. What do you do in that situation? Well, Chalk should bully out Amma pretty easily, I think, right now. I can't really say just like what you should do in that situation. I definitely have to like watch your gameplay, see what you did wrong. But for the most part, it's gonna be hard to. I mean, you should bully him out once you get your defense. So just play super passive until you get your defense, and you should trade or out trade him unless you're doing something really wrong. He's hybrid Susanoo build in Jungle Worth. I always go trans Hydra's full power build with maybe 1 defense sometimes. I would say if you're gonna do, you would only go 1 defensive item like Magi's. I think you need a lot more damage on Susanoo to be useful because you dive their backline super hard. You go on their carries usually. You're not like a tank killer, so you need to be able to like one-shot them. Plus he doesn't have the most amount of CC, so he kind of doesn't make up for it if he doesn't have the damage. So I would go like Magi's, and then the rest, yeah, full damage for the most part. When do you build Onis? I actually don't build it too often solo, but when I need the CCR, the MP5 is really nice. When I'm not playing a guy that's like CDR dependent, so they don't need like Genjis instead of that, even though I haven't been going Genjis too often lately. But it also I sometimes would go it just when I need magical defense right away because it's super cheap. So I'm just like, all right, I need magical defense ASAP. I'll just go Onis because it's so cheap and is really effective at keeping you alive. Reverse Erlang, you pick up a Stone of Gaia. I don't mean exactly that they have a heal in their kit. I just like Erlang doesn't really. I mean, I guess you could go Stone of Gaia against him. Yeah, it's probably not too bad, especially with berserkers and stuff. I meant more of like along lines of like their entire comp is relying on it. Like, so say they have like a Chang'e or like a Aphrodite, then Stone of Gaia I think is pretty good because you're a tank in the Stone of Gaia heal will match some other sustain, which is nice. Masamune good on Cuckoo. I find the passive works really well for him, but I feel like his ability scaling also isn't good enough for it. Yeah, Masamune is a decent item. Item on Kukon. If you want to go a bruiser item, you don't need full defense. I mean, a lot of times you do need full defense, but I think it's good on him. At least for late game. That's the only time I would buy it is late game. For gods who fall off late game, what role should you shift into? And in solo, just tank frontline? Yeah, tank frontline. Do your best to peel a lot of times if you fall off late game. Or just try to really amplify like whatever that god is good at. I know that kind of sounds weird, but just really try and do it. So say you fall off a little bit, but you're somebody who dives the back line, then doesn't mean you should stop diving the back line. You should just like go super hard and trade 1 for 1 because maybe the value of the god you're killing is better late game. So you get a lot of value out of diving them because you're not so good in that stage of the game. You play D&D? No, I don't. How do you know when you out trade? Just play the matchup enough and test it out. Partly that, a lot of just experience of playing the game a lot, and playing off of your power spikes. So if I have a defense item over the enemy solo and it's not like the worst matchup ever, then I should be able to out trade them because they just don't have the same amount of defense as me. So that's one way. That's good to hear, Sean. I hope things are getting better. Sounds like it'll help. Is Shogun's good on solos? No, I would never go Shogun's on a solo laner. No health on it. Only 60 magical protections. Doesn't provide the stats that you want. So no, I would never go it. Good turn. What does peeling in game mean? Basically, what's your personal opinion that Cupid should be reworked? I don't think he needs a rework. I actually kind of like Cupid. I think they could change him up a little bit, but keep his overall identity. And then to answer the peeling question for the last question before we play this game, it just means you're trying to help your backline, your carries, the people who are basically full damage and can't defend themselves, from the people who are trying to kill them. So you're peeling them off. You're trying to get the other characters, the enemy characters who are diving them off of them, so that they can survive, either through CC, body blocking, your own like form of peel, like a Geb shield is peel because he's using it to help his team survive. So